Today we are going to be looking at multiplying and dividing powers. So let's expand x to the third. If we expand that out, that's just x times x times x. And if we expand out x to the sixth, that's x times x 6 times. So when we're multiplying x to the third times x to the sixth, we can rewrite x to the third as x times itself 3 times, and then do the same thing for x to the sixth. So when we multiply these together, we have x to the, how many x's do we have? We have 6 and 3, so that makes 9. So this is going to go into our rule. You can multiply powers with the same base by adding the exponents. So instead of writing out each one in extended form, we could just did 6 plus 3 to give us 9. Let's look at some examples. We have 4 squared times 4 to the fifth. We keep the base of 4, add the exponent. So 2 plus 5 gives us 7. 2, we have x times x to the seventh. Remember, there's an imaginary 1. So we're going to do 1 plus 7, so we're going to get x to the 8th. Number 3 looks a little bit differently. We have 4y squared times 3y. We are going to multiply our coefficients, our numbers here. 4 times 3 is 12. Then we take care of our y's. Y squared times y would be y to the third. Same thing with 4 here. We have a cubed times b squared times a cubed times b to the fourth. Combine the like. So we have an a and an a to the third and a squared, so that becomes a to the fifth. Then we have our b's, b squared and b to the fourth. If we combine, we get b to the sixth. Now I want you to pause the video and do the next 6. Come back and check your work once you're done. Okay, let's check our work. We have 2 to the 8th times 2 to the 3rd. Keep the base out of the exponent, so we get 2 to the 11th. Number 6, we have 10 to the 4th times 10 squared. Keep the base of 10 and add the exponents, so 10 to the 6th. Let's look at 7. We do the same thing here. Negative 3 times 5, which is negative 15, and x squared times x is x to the third. Number 8, combine your x's. We get x to the 9th. Combine your y's, and we get y to the 8th. Number 9, let's multiply our coefficients. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Combine the x's. X to the third times x to the fourth is x to the seventh. And we still have y. And then the last one here, combine our m's. So we have m to the seventh and bring down our b squared. So that is multiplying. Now let's look at dividing. So we're going to do it the same way with expanding out our numbers. So 3 to the 7th is 3 times itself 7 times. And 3 to the 4th is 3 times itself 4 times. Now let's rewrite it for 3 to the 7th divided by 3 to the 4th. So we have We have 7 3's on top, and we have 4 3's in the denominator. Now, let's simplify this. We can cancel out those 3's, and that, those 3's, and those 3's. So we're just left with 3 times 3 times 3. And that is the same thing as saying 3 to the third power. So instead of doing this step here, we need to write a rule. So what we're going to do when we are dividing powers is we are going to subtract our exponents. So let's look at some examples. We have 4 to the third divided by 4 squared. Cube the base and subtract the exponent. So we get 4 to the first. And 4 to the first is just 4. Number 2, we have x to the 6th divided by x to the 4th. We keep our base of x, subtract 6 minus 4 is 2. 3, we need to simplify our coefficients first. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then let's look at our n's. So we have m to the 4th and m to the 3rd. 4 minus 3 is just m to the 1st, which we don't need the 1. And then we're going to do n to the 5th divided by n squared. So we get n, subtract 5 minus 2 is 3. Just take it step by step. So let's do our coefficients here. Negative 30 divided by 10 is negative 3. M to the 5th divided by m to the 3rd. Subtract and we get m squared. And then lastly, we have n squared divided by n. We just get n. Now I want you to do the next 6. Pause the video, come back and check your work. Okay, let's check our work. We have x to the 4th times y squared divided by x times y squared. So let's first simplify our x's. So x to the 4th divided by x gives us x to the 3rd. Y squared divided by y squared gives us y to the 0. And if we remember, anything to the 0 power is 1, so we just simplify it as x cubed. Number 6. Let's simplify our coefficients first. 24 divided by negative 2 is negative 12. Then look at our a's. A to the 3rd divided by a squared is a to the 1st. And b to the 6th divided by b squared is b to the 4th. Number 7, y to the 5th divided by y to the 4th. Subtract. We get y. 8, a to the 4th, b to the 3rd, divided by ab squared. So all of the b here is squared. So we have a to the 4th divided by a, so that's a to the 3rd. B to the 3rd divided by b squared is just b. Okay, let's step it up a notch. Divide your coefficients. 24 divided by negative 6 gives you negative 4. Then your x's, we have x squared and x squared. That gets canceled out. There was no more x's. Y to the 7th divided by y to the 3rd. Subtract. And you get y to the 4th. Then we have z to the 3rd divided by z, so you get z squared. The last one here, divide your coefficients. 22 divided by negative 11 is negative 2. A to the 4th divided by a is a to the 3rd. b to the 5th divided by b is b to the 4th, and c to the 7th divided by c squared is c to the 5th. So that is the lesson on multiplying and dividing powers. Please reach out if you have any questions.